Hi guys, welcome to Traveler's Tales by Uncle Chan. It has been days since Singaporean trekker Mr. Harry Tan's body has been found in the Nepal Himalayas, and it seems like the media is not going to dig deeper for information to clarify matters. Now in this video, I shall try to sum up everything, reword, restructure the badly written news reports, and come up with a hypothesis. Now if anybody has first-hand information to share, I'm most willing to listen. Now first, let me go through the news reports. The Straits Times is not so bad because they didn't try to go into too much detail. But one look at the headline and I know that something is not right, because there is no cliff on the Kongmala Trail. There are two sides to the Kongmala Pass. One side faces the Imja Valley, the nearest settlement being Chukung, and the other side faces the Khumbu Valley, the nearest settlement being Lobuche. The steepest part of the trail is the couple of 100 meters before and after the pass. Now on the ground, it's actually steeper than it looks on the map, but the difficulty lies more with the thin air than with the gradient. Now, Mr. Tan could have fallen at any point, but there is no cliff on the trail. Now, let me bring you on an imaginary trip up to Kongmala. I'm assuming that Mr. Tan was doing the three passes trek from east to west, and Kongmala was his first pass. It's challenging not because it's very steep, but because of the cold, the wind, and the oxygen deficient air. You are taking in only about 50% of the available oxygen at sea level. On the ground, it looks something like this. It's beautiful, but it can be deadly. Now that we know what the place looks like, how did Mr. Tan end up missing? CNA gave us a horribly tangled explanation. It mentioned that a Singaporean who called himself Andrew to avoid being identified was at Everest base camp, where he learned from a female friend who is not Singaporean that Mr. Tan had gone missing. So was that friend at Chukung? How did the two communicate when one was at Everest base camp and the other near Kongmala, where Mr. Tan went missing? Did the journalists get the locations all mixed up? Was mystery man Andrew really at Chukung and not at Everest base camp? Then the article mentioned that Mr. Tan left his two companions at the lodge and went off to cross the pass unguided and alone. A group on the same trail witnessed Mr. Tan taking a fall. They did not manage to cross Kongmala because of the weather and had obviously had to retreat back to the lodge. A female member of the group reported this to Andrew. Was this the same female friend who informed him of Mr. Tan having gone missing? How would she know that he had gone missing when he's not even a member of her group? Was he pronounced missing because he somehow didn't or couldn't retreat back to the lodge? I'm almost certain that Andrew was at Chukung and not at Everest Base Camp, as reported. Could this mystery man have also been one of the companions that Mr. Tan left behind at the lodge before he set off for Kongmala on that fateful day? What do we know for certain? We know for certain that Mr. Tan was injured and there were people on the trail who saw it. Their Sherpa declined to render assistance on the spot. They returned to Chukung as they couldn't cross the pass and reported him missing. An injured Mr. Tan was left out in the open at 5,000 meter altitude in the Himalayas from 26 September to 2nd of October at a spot where a trekking group could have pinpointed. His body was found on the 4th of October after 2 days of searching because the witnesses had already moved on or identified themselves simply as Andrew. Don't trouble him. He's a very busy man. Adventurers are responsible for their own safety and well-being, especially those who are trekking without guides, something which I do not recommend. No one should feel obliged to compromise his own safety to rescue others. But next time, please tell a better story. I'll be off to Nepal again in a couple of weeks, but I won't be going to the Everest region this time. If you have any evidence or information to dispute my hypothesis, do let me know. Stay tuned for my next update.